Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. And the cause of the massive bugs that are hitting the game right now has been identified. However, it will not be fixed until early next week. Okay, guys, let's break this down. So, this is what is happening. We have identified the cause of the freezes many players have been experiencing, and we're in the process of building a patch to fix it that should be ready to deploy early next week. In the meantime, we advise against using the Arc Thrower, Arc Shotgun, and Tesla Tower as those appear to be linked to the issue. Thank you for your continued patience. Now, my first reaction to this is, why don't you just disable the weapons? Because there will be people who will not watch YouTube videos, who will not go on social media, who will not look at Discord, who will not read the patch notes, and that's literally 99% of the players. They won't do this. They'll just think, cool, electric cannon, I want to use it, or Tesla Towers, let's go. You know what I mean? So you cannot fault the players for using something that's in the game, which apparently is broken. So yeah, why not just disable them? Well, it looks like they don't actually have the technology to do that at the moment, as crazy as that sounds. So check this out. Wouldn't it be easier to just disable the weapons until the patch is deployed, considering most people probably do not read Reddit? And the moderator of Reddit says that they've spoke to the devs. I asked, so they decided not to do that because in order to disable the weapons, they'd have to send out a patch to do it, and they would have to test and verify it with PlayStation and PC separately, which means they'd spend more time doing that than just fixing the problem for the patch next week. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, as far as I understand, the way this works is if you've got a patch ready to go, specifically for PlayStation, PC is totally different. You can update PC whenever you like because you're controlling the updates. But for PlayStation and also for Xbox, you have to go through verification of your update. This costs money and this takes time. So you can't just deploy patches really fast. You can't just go, okay, we want to change the game files, let's just do it. Because it has to go through PlayStation and it all takes time. So what the developers, I think, are saying to this Reddit mod that, like, look, we're just going to add this to the patch that we're going to do next week anyway, which does tell us there is a patch coming next week. We're not going to do an additional patch for it because it's going to take probably too much time, too much effort, and it's just not worth it. But this does show you a hole, doesn't it, in the way Helldivers 2 is programmed. So I'm hoping that they maybe fix this for the next update where they can disable certain weapons and stratagems, because it's probably likely this will happen again in the future. Now, in terms of the way this was causing the game to crash with the arc weapons, we believe it was down to the accuracy statistic. So it was over-reporting this, it was going above 100%, and that was causing the game to crash. We think that's what was happening. However, there are still crashes happening, and they're happening for a whole myriad of reasons we don't understand, and it's still the most frustrating element of this game currently. Joel has spoken. So you guys might remember that the Galactic War was offline because it was bugged and it was broken. So we couldn't actually progress any of the planets, so we couldn't liberate them. This message pops up in the Discord, a message for everyone from the Game Master. So Joel speaks. Helldivers, we're aware of an issue with the Galactic War not tracking your effective spread of Liberty properly. We are investigating this urgently and will keep you posted as soon as we understand the issue and have a fix to communicate to you. Thanks very much for your patience while we squash some software bugs. This is now resolved, and I've got to love this because the way it was resolved, the update in the game, it's like an in-world update. It's so cool. It's not just like a generic, like, yes, the Galactic War system is now fixed. Look at this. It says, cyber security update. A recent system security breach has resulted in Galactic War tables displaying inaccurate information. The breach has been addressed and all systems have been returned to normal operation. Any discrepancies are to be considered the result of dissident information or misinformation. Rest assured that the parties responsible have been identified, arrested, tried, and executed. Now, obviously, it's a major issue if the Galactic War system isn't working, so the fact they fixed this so fast is really good news, and the devs are obviously working super hard to keep the game, well, keep the game awesome. So talking of awesome, let's take a look at this, because this is actually some massive news. So VGC is reporting that Helldivers 2 is the USA's best-selling game of the year so far, with nearly 60% of sales on PC. And the game's launch month dollar sales are Sony's 7th highest ever in the US. So we're talking massive figures here. But obviously the takeaway from this is, yeah, Sony, and why don't you release all your games on PC, you know, when you launch them? Because PC is a bloody big market and they will buy the games. But yeah, let's take a look at this. As shared on X by Matt Piscatella of Sakana, formerly NPD. That is essentially like a gaming analytics company. They look at market trends and stuff. We do have data from him. I think we featured him in videos before anyway. The article goes on to say, the co-op shooter took the top spot in the best-selling premium games, best-selling PlayStation games, and most played on Steam charts for the month. Despite its February the 8th release date, it also topped the charts for the best-selling premium games in the US for the year to date, taking both January and February sales into account. Piscatella also pointed out that more copies of Helldivers 2 were sold on Steam than PS5, with PC sales accounting for nearly 60% of copies sold. Helldivers combined PS5 and PC sales means its total dollar sales for its launch month were the 7th highest total ever achieved by Sony published title in the US, according to Sakana. Now, I think this is really interesting, right? Because I look at myself as a gamer. I've got a PlayStation 5. I play on my PlayStation 5. But I don't think I would have bought Helldivers on PlayStation 5. I mean, this is going to sound crazy to say, but it feels more of a PC game in my head. Like, I want to play this sitting at my PC. They're not playing it on my, console. I know that's like a weird thing. Obviously, a lot of people do play it on console. So I think I am one of those customers that wouldn't have necessarily bought the game because it was just on PS5, but I have because it's on PC. It's a weird sort of mental situation I'm in. But the fact is, there are a lot of people with PCs anyway. So this whole thing of, Sony, just release your games on PC as well as, PlayStation when you launch them. And you're probably going to make a lot more money. So these are stats from Matt. And he says, February 2024, top 20 best-selling premium games in the US. Dollar sales, physical, digital, from digital data sharing publishers, excludes add-on content. And you can see Helldivers 2 is right at the top. You got Final Fantasy Rebirth. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is always high up there. Skull and Bones comes in at number 4 from Ubisoft. And then obviously it goes down the list. Now, there is one game which is omitted from this, which is by far and away the best and biggest selling game of the year by an absolute mile. And that's Palworld. We know Palworld has sold nearly 25 million copies. In fact, I think it's sold more. The reason why it's not included in any of these stats is because it's an early access game. It's not a finished game. It's not a what they call a premium game. So it's an indie early access game. So yeah, that would be at the top. I'm 100% certain of that. But if you get rid of that, then yeah, Helldivers 2 comes in, and look at the competition it's against. It's absolutely slapped them all. It's beautiful. It's not just the US though, because it's also popular in Europe. Earlier this week, it was reported that Helldivers 2 was also Europe's best-selling game for February, with PC sales accounting for 56% of the game's sales in that region. While Sony has not released official sales figures for Helldivers 2, the game's regularly exceeded 430,000 concurrent players on Steam, per SteamDB. According to TD Cohen analyst Doug Kruitz, Helldivers 2 likely sold more than 8 million copies since its release last month. We believe the game has performed well ahead of expectations, he wrote in the note this month. The game's breakout success has led to speculation that its developer Stockholm-based Arrowhead Game Studios could be acquired by PlayStation, but this is something the studio itself has denied. And of course, the CEO says no, they're not selling to PlayStation, which is interesting. Also, I think I covered the amount of sales that the game has possibly sold, 8 million. I think it's actually more than 8 million, even as of that video when I made it the other week. But I think, we're looking at over 10 million copies easy for Helldivers 2. So as I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware, if you've been playing Helldivers like today or yesterday, there's a new intelligence briefing and the flying Terminids are everywhere. This is the reason why Joel has given us a gift. And I'll show you the gift in a moment. Oh, it's a beautiful gift. Anyway, the intelligence brief is as reads. A new strain of flying Terminids has suddenly appeared across all Terminid planets with no prior warning or indication of any kind. While the Ministry of Intelligence has always known this was a possibility, the abruptness of the evolution indicates a high possibility of dissident concealment. The deployment of the termicide was fortuitously timed. Doubtlessly, it averted an even worse evolution. Oh dear, it caused the evolution, didn't it? Helldivers are advised to exterminate these mutations whenever encountered. So, yeah, you'll be seeing the sort of triple mushroom thing, which is where all the flying Terminids come from. It's actually quite hard to destroy, this is. So, this is why Joel has given us a gift. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the gift from Joel. Possibly the best present anyone could ever wish for. It's a free 500 kilogram bomb stratagem. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, this user here, I took this image from Reddit because it just made me laugh. Because they've obviously got the upgrade to the hangar and they're taking their own 500 kilogram bomb. They've got 4 500 kilogram bombs. It's like, yes, the dream come true. But yeah, the reason why I think they've given us this is it's really good at blowing up the thing. I don't know, what's it even called? It's like a hive or whatever. The flying Terminids come from, the Shriekers, which is great. Also, the Shriekers are really cool themselves because they're very much taken straight out of Starship Troopers, like the entire Terminid faction is. But these guys will swoop down and chop your head off if you stand still and instantly kill you, which is pretty funny. And also, when you're shooting them as they're flying towards you, they will just dive bomb you and kill you as well. So you need to get out of the way. Again, that's taken from Starship Troopers, I believe. The scene where the colonel gets absolutely killed, or he might be a general, when he's sitting down on the floor moaning about whatever, and then a flying bug just goes through him and kills him. Yeah. Now, this is an awesome post. And again, I love reading these posts on Reddit because they distill what I'm thinking in my head. And I love it because you guys know monetization is something I do talk about quite a lot, especially with games like Overwatch. So when you get something that's so refreshing, it's almost hard to put it into words. But check this out. Helldivers 2 has made me realize how much gaming has fallen. The game has some flaws, but goddamn is it good. It feels like you are actually seeing a war unfold with the live service that they came up with. But what made me realise, dude, our standards have went to shit, was when I was playing a mission and a teammate opened 3 bunkers, got 100 super credits each time, which is the premium currency. I had to be surprised that I couldn't actually earn all armor sets and cosmetics by playing the effing game. That I can, earn them. Yes, I can buy super credits, but I can also play Helldiver difficulty and explore and walk out the mission with enough to buy some new armor. Compare that to other games where I have to expect opening my wallet every 2 seconds and dish out $20 for an armor set or a new weapon, like Call of Duty. Helldivers 2 should have gamers demanding we want everything by playing the game. Edit, also, all the players get it. If you find 50 super credits, everybody gets it. So yeah, obviously, if you loot it, everyone in the team gets it. Yeah, I mean, this is just... this, again, is one of the things, like, I think we've just become accustomed to the way games have been monetized. We don't like it, but we just accept it, because it's almost like you don't have any other alternative in the AAA gaming space. I mean, you do in the indie gaming space. There's a load of great games out there where you pay for the game, and you get the game, basically. But, yeah, AAA games, especially when it comes to live service, that's where you start getting the issues. Now, the other thing, which is not discussed in this comment, is the way the live service is handled with Helldivers 2. And the way it is a very fresh take on it. The way it truly does feel like a live service. I don't know at what point AAA games decided that live service just means every set number of weeks we do an update, and then we do marketing towards that update, and then we drop the update. Instead of actually developing something which is a live service, which doesn't have set dates when things could happen, which is fluid, which is dynamic, which does increase player participation in the game, because you're thinking, okay, what's going to be the next awesome thing? You guys are probably the same as me. When I load up Helldivers, the first thing I'm doing, I mean, I'm playing on PC, so I'm pressing like Z and whatever, but I'm seeing what the updates are, what the major orders are, what the modifiers are. Like, I'm looking for that straight away, and it's only a little thing, but it's like, okay, the game's going to change a little bit. Okay, what's the major order? Ah, right, we need to go and do this, we need to go and do that. It's dynamic. And also, when they drop new content, we've seen it with the mechs, where we had the whole lead up to the mechs, where the mechs were just around randomly on planets, and then you could, like, we had to go and liberate the factories on Tien Quan. It's just like, and then then it's added to the game. It's like, I cannot actually wax lyrical enough about this as a live service. It feels great. So yeah, the way they're delivering the content, developing the game, it's just fantastic, and it really does. It puts other games to shame as well. But I do think the only reason they've done this is because they were a small enough studio to do it. These massive studios are not given the leeway to go, hey, we're going to actually make a proper live service game where it is live, it is a living world. Instead, it's like, no, we want the updates every 9 weeks or whatever, because we can build a big marketing beat around them. And we know that'll generate a certain amount of money, whereas just randomly updating the game might not be as effective when it comes to those kind of financials, simply because they don't have that data. Going on from that, look at this tweet. So I pulled this up over on X, but a ton of people are talking about this. And it's more for the image, right? So this is the DLC for Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a single-player game. Dragon's Dogma 2 is $41 of DLC. But if you look at the DLC, it's things like fast travel. Like, are they actually joking? Like, they want to sell fast travel in an RPG game that's single player. See, this is the thing. You look at this and you're just like, I get lost. You know, I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want that. But I look at Helldivers, and it's completely the opposite. It doesn't have any of this in. They're not charging us to go to planets. They're not charging us for stratagems. It's $1 for the 500-kilogram bomb. Although maybe they should, because imagine how much money they make if they were charging $1 for 500-kilogram bomb usage. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, on that crazy mad note, I'm going to leave this video at that. If you did enjoy it, then, well, like the video, leave a comment below. And, yeah, let's crack on with some Helldiving. But remember, don't use the arc weapons, because they're going to break the game, and that's not cool. Ugh.